Okay, hello everybody. I hope you are well. So, today we're going to go on with our reading. Remember, today a good reader, tomorrow is a good leader. So, that's why I advise you to read as much as you can, especially when you're sitting home. So, let's begin. Today our story is about Curious George goes to a costume party. And the author is Margaret and H.A. Race. The key word is curious. I hope that you are curious. You know what? Curious people usually put a lot of questions, and it's very good. Put as many questions as you can, because sooner or later you'll find the answer to them. So now let's go back to our Curious George. Please. So far in this story, we'll have these vocabulary. These are key words. So I hope that you know all of them. If not, today we'll talk about each one. Okay, the word monkey. Probably you know what monkey is, yeah? But the thing is that main character of this story is monkey. Monkey's name is George. Okay, he's very curious. And the next word is cowboy. Have you seen a cowboy movies? Riding horses, wearing pants with fringes. We'll see them later. And the word mummy. In old times, in old Egypt, when the people passed away, they tried to keep them and they wrapped them in white cloths and they turned into mummies. Mummies. Well, I have already told you about pants with fringes, you will see, and trunk. What is trunk? Trunk is a box. Usually people keep it in the attic or in the cellar, and they keep there some old stuff like shoes, clothes, or something like that. Okay, an astronaut, probably have know it, you know this word, and tangled up as when you are wrapped up in something and it is very hard to come out of it. And there are two words that are also very important for this story. They are ghost and a witch. A witch is evil. He's wearing black hat, green face, and he tries to do something bad to scare people. While ghost is not always evil, but he's also lives in old houses, and though he doesn't want, but sometimes he also scare people. Okay, bounced. When you're at home and you have nothing to do, usually you bounce, jump all the time. Sometimes little boys jump on the bed. Our George will also jump on the bed. So I think that's all for the words. And a lasso, yes. And a lasso is something, a rope that a cowboy wears and makes circles. Okay, you'll see them too. Okay, let's start the main story, please. Here is our main character, little George, the monkey, with his friend with a yellow hat. And they had been invited to Mrs. Gray's house. Look, this is the house. It is like a castle, probably the very old one. Okay, so this is Mrs. Gray's house. Go on. But when they came to her room and they knocked at the door, our little George got so scared that he hid behind his friend because he saw, what is it? Yes, it is a witch. Black hat, green mask. Oh, he was so scared. But as soon as she took off her mask, she's not a witch anymore. She's Mrs. Gray. And she said, "Oh dear, did I forget to tell you that this was a costume party?" So they were invited to a costume party, like a carnival. They had to wear a kind of costume. Okay? So they entered the house, and here are people in the costume. This is Mommy. Do you remember I told you what Mommy was? So this is Mommy's costume. This is astronaut. And I don't know, it is a dustbin probably. Okay, next one. And here are other characters, a rabbit, a queen, and a clown. And they are having a nice time. But Mrs. Gray was worried because little George didn't have any costume. So she said, "Please go upstairs, and there is a trunk with old clothes, and you can pick up one for you." So our George was so curious. He rushed upstairs, and here is a trunk. Look at him. He's looking into the trunk and trying to find the right costume, because he wants finally to look into the mirror and to see himself. Okay, next one, please. So George tried on lots of costumes. The first one was too big. The next one was too small. Another was too silly. He didn't like it at all. And this one was too scary. So here it is. Finally, he found the cowboy's costume. Look here. These are pants with fringe. These are fringe. Okay, and this is a lasso. He's turning it round and round. He's a real cowboy. And he wanted to see himself in the mirror. That's why, yes, he wanted to see himself in the mirror, but he was too short and he could not reach the mirror. That's why he started bouncing. He bounced on the bed, just a little. But still, he couldn't see himself in the mirror. So he jumped higher, then even higher, then higher, again and again, a little more, and finally he went up. And he was having so much fun, he forgot all about looking in the mirror. He bounced as high as he could until, crash, he fell down. He bounced off the bed. He smashed into the night table. Here is a night table, and got tangled up in the tablecloth. Suddenly, everything went black. George heard the people downstairs gasp, "What was that? Was that a ghost?" Here he is. Look at him. He's like a ghost in white tablecloth. So he was so scared himself, he rushed out of the room downstairs, and he wanted to get back to his friend in a hurry, and he knew the fastest way, so she ran and ran, and finally he slipped off the rail, and here is his friend in yellow hat, and whoosh down the stairs. And the people were scared. Everyone turned. They looked scared, and they were looking at George. The ghost must be right behind him. But finally, his friend caught him. Plop! He was in the arms of a farmer. But this wasn't a real farmer. It was his friend, the man with the yellow hat. Soon, everyone stopped looking scared and started to laugh. Okay? So they were laughing at her. That's not a ghost, that's a cowboy, laughed a policeman. Here is a policeman. That's not a cowboy, that's a monkey, giggled the princess. That's not just any monkey, said Betsy. It's a curious George. Everyone clapped and cheered. They liked George's Halloween trick. Okay? You gave us a good scare, George, said Mrs. Gray. And I'm glad to see you found some interesting costume. Now, why don't I take your ghost outfit so you can join the party? So his outfit was ghost costume. So finally, they enjoyed themselves, and they had some party games. The prizes for the best costumes were handed out. And there was one prize for Betsy. She was an astronaut. One for Bill. Do you remember? He was Mummy. And 2 prizes for Curious George. So they gave him a prize. He was so happy. You were the best ghost and the best cowboy, George, said Mrs. Gray. That's all for the story. Now I want to tell you that the key word of this story was curious. Curious. I want you to remember the word. And I have a tricky home assignment for you. Try to reread the story very, very carefully and find the words starting on C, U, R, I, O, U, S. Ready? And so, there are the words. Costume, cowboy, upstairs, right, interesting, outfit, until, scare and smashed. You can find some more. Try. So far, bye-bye.